Hello everyone, this is Munmun Masi. Welcome to D-Talks2.O, a global learning platform by Dignity Education, where conversations go beyond ideas and move towards real impact. Launched in 2021, D-Talks has brought together over 130 global leaders, innovators, educators, change makers to address one pressing challenge of this current time: the global learning crisis, especially in foundational literacy and numeracy. But Detox 2.0 is not just about education in a traditional sense. It's about disrupting the way we learn, we think, especially in identity and human potential. Because if classrooms are the first place where humanity learns how to live together, then the real question is, are we just teaching our children how to read, write, and learn? Or are we helping them to understand who they really are? And that's why today our conversation is going to be happening right now. Today we are joined by someone very special who is not just working in education but transforming lives at much deeper level. Hope Kemigisha is an identity and purpose coach, a transformational leader, the founder of Dominate Youth Movement, working across Uganda and the United States to shape young minds into purpose-driven leaders. With over 17 years of experience in child development, youth empowerment, and leadership, her work sits at a powerful intersection of identity, healing, and impact. So, everybody, let's welcome Miss Hope. Hope, it's truly a pleasure to have you here, and we are very honored to have you with us. Thank you for giving your time. Welcome to our
Thank you so
podcast.
very much for having me. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Hope Kemigisha, and I'm blessed to be here. Thank you.
Wow. So, before we talk about your professional life, I really want to dive into something very personal. As you deal with purpose and identity and you coach people in this area, I want to know, who was Hope before she discovered her own purpose?
I would say I was driven, but unclear. You know, when you're
Okay.
moving very fast, but you're not sure. I had passion, but I would not say there was alignment. I was doing
Mm-hmm.
good things, but not the right things for who I was. I was just doing what everyone else was doing until it hit me. And I said, there's a reason why I'm on this earth. There's a uniqueness to me. I need to find that. And that is when I started pursuing purpose, especially after running NGOs, running orphanages, raising all these youth. Yes, I was happy, I was fulfilled, but I didn't even know why I was doing it. So until I started digging deeper to find who is Hope, what am I called and tailored to do? But I was very passionate, very encouraged, motivated, running everywhere till I found my purpose. Thank you.
Wow, that's powerful. So, was there any specific moment where you realized that I need to understand who I am?
Yes, I came to a realization that results did not equal identity. And that was after some time when I was achieving, but I was still empty inside. I just felt like this is not it. There's a time where you realize I'm empty inside. I'm doing things, but I don't feel content. There are people, so many when you're in employment, but you just hate your job. But we've been trained to go get a job. So at that moment is when I said no. I was working in the oil and gas as business development manager. And then I said, you know what? This is not it. This is not me. So that is when I knew I needed to understand who I was, not just what I can do, because performance can add confusion. So at that moment, I started digging everywhere,
Hmm.
pursuing, looking at this, checking this. Who am I? I did courses, I did trainings, I read books. And that's when I think I was fully content with who I am today. That was my defining moment. Waking up every day, building a dream, a vision, But then going back home and you're empty, you don't feel satisfaction. Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. So you speak a lot about identity as foundation. Do you think
Yeah.
that trying to educate children without first helping them to understand about their identity, is it, do you abide by that, or do you think that we should first help them to understand who they are, then move to education?
I think we are building intellect without identity.
Wow.
That creates capable people who are internally confused and eventually misdirected.
Hmm.
Because have you noticed that the A students in class usually are retained to be professors and do all this other employment, maybe formal employment? These students are the entrepreneurs. They're the ones who do maybe, then the C students are the politicians who govern the rules and the laws that the A students have to follow. So I realized that to pass an exam, you need to cram. Many
Mm-hmm.
people, you just have to have a good memory to actually pass an exam. It doesn't mean you really internalized it and you thought beyond how can I get the information and build on it. You just had to read for an exam to pass, and you're a student, and that's the system. So I think, like you asked, are we creating children without helping them know who they are? Yes, absolutely. Yes, we are creating people that are running a race according to the template that society has given us, just to say, I get these books and put them in my head, and all I need to do is write them perfectly and get an A. So does that
Right.
really go back to who I am? Does that really give me time to think deeper inside? Look at the gifts I have. Look at what I love to do. How can I contribute to this world? So we are created to fit in a certain system.
Yes, yes, yes. Wow. I liked what you said that we are focusing on the intellect without talking about identity, and that's leading this generation to confusion. Can you talk more about it? Because I think that's something very important to talk about. That intellect without identity is just confusion.
Yeah, when you look at the people that commit murder, they are the smart people. Smart but without identity, confused. I'm telling you, rarely do you find it's usually people who have read everything. And
Hmm.
I'm not against, of course, reading and education. I'm for it. But you'll find that, let me say, people that are teaching entrepreneurship, they run no business. Usually they are not very good at businesses, but they are teaching it. So we have people that have been taught and have all this information in them. We are following a certain template. Who created that template and when was it formulated? With the advancement that is going on and what is happening today, there is a certain system we are fitting in, and that it doesn't take away the fact that someone will feel void inside. Because the way we are wired and created, every fingerprint is different. My fingerprint is different from yours, regardless of which continent you're in. So that should be able
Right.
to speak to us that we are individual and we are different in our making, in the way we have been created. The way I think is not the way you should be able to think, but we've gotten all of our children and put them in one classroom and teach them the same thing, and we expect the same outcome. It's impossible. That is why some of the most innovative, successful people have shunned. You find that they ran away from the formal education. So I
Hmm.
still think that when people are given time to dig deep inside, to explore, to experiment outside of just the classroom and outside of just the confined one template that somebody sat and designed, then I'm able to discover who I am exactly and what it is that I am able to contribute positively in this world, because there's so much to do. But right now we have so many job seekers and very few people. So if you take away the job, what remains of a person that has been built in a system in a particular template up to the age of 25? What can they do at that age? All their time to learn, to explore, to think deeper, to create, to make mistakes, to just go in there and find their uniqueness has been robbed. So I think we still have many people that are book smart, but confused and eventually misdirected.
Wow, that's powerful. Do you think like a child who doesn't feel seen or heard or valued actually can learn effectively no matter how strong the system is? Who is at fault? Do you think the system is failing?
Not fully. It's like getting a broken glass that is shattered and you're trying to make it a masterpiece. It is impossible. A child
Mm.
who feels invisible will always struggle to engage. They will always
Mm.
feel inferior to the others. When identity is missing, attention and confidence naturally drop. Naturally drop. It's not something, it is tested, it's proven. A child will always feel like I'm in a space where I don't belong because they don't feel like they belong in there. When they feel invisible, then their abilities are squashed. Their hope is squashed. And on this earth, we need for hope. Knowing that I can be better, I can do better, I can do this. So when you squash that identity in them, or if they lack it, or they don't even know who they are, there's no background, there's nothing to hold on to, you're going to find a child that is always lagging behind or rebellious. So rebellion usually comes from lack of identity.
That was very deep. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yes,
You're
because I
welcome.
think this generation is very rebellious and there is a
It
lot of identity crisis. So I understand from what you're saying that the root of this all rebellion nature is coming from the lack of identity. They have intellect, but they're rebellious because the
the most
identity is missing.
rebellious people are not foolish. They are very smart, but because of that, they really don't know what their identity is. Therefore, no purpose. And when you have no purpose in life, you're misguided, misdirected anywhere. So they try to seek attention by being rebellious, by doing all the things. All they are looking for is who am I? I don't know. I don't even know why I'm here. So it's a system that I see creating many, and especially smart people that are out there on the streets rioting against governments, against systems, against this. They cannot debate because they don't have a basis. They don't even know why they are doing it. They are trying to look for alignment. And
Mhm.
that is a big challenge we have today.
From your experience, what's more dangerous, lack of resources or lack of identity in the long run?
Our lack of identity. Do you know that if you give, let's say 100,000, okay, let's say $1,000, let me not go,
Okay.
and you give it to somebody, no, let me not use money, let's use a sneaker, a very white, clean, expensive Jordan sneaker.
Okay.
You get it and you give it to somebody on the street or someone who doesn't know the value that is attached to that sneaker.
Hmm.
Or who is living in a very dirty place, an environment that is dirty. You gift it to them with your love, which is resources, right?
Yeah.
Before you know it, give it a week or two. That shoe that came to Ethiopia is going to look exactly like that person. That is why you cannot change a person with money without dealing with the mindset. You cannot. You cannot give somebody resources who doesn't even understand who they are. They are going to misappropriate the resources. So resources can be created, but a lost identity leads to wasted potential. Even in the best environment, wasted potential. So for me, it is identity first, mind shift, mindset to be able to handle what you're being given, and then now the resources come in. It cannot be resource, then now discovery of who you are, what your purpose is, or what you want to know. It's systematic.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Wow. That's amazing. Like what you just said, that we can create resources, but a lost identity, it cannot be
Yes,
created. It
it
cannot be.
cannot.
And it hampers the potential. Wow. So many children struggle with basic literacy and numeracy. But how often do you think this is actually a confidence issue, identity issue disguised as an academic problem?
Hmm. I am not smart. Performance always follows belief.
Hmm.
Poor performance is often a confidence issue. That one you cannot even deny it. And there is always coping. We are in a system whereby if you don't know what you are good at and what you have to do, you're going to always compare yourself to other people. That's the mental health you hear people talk about. Mental health
Right.
is because we are consuming from what we see, from what everyone is doing. Therefore, you're trying to pull your strides to match Usain Bolt, but you
Hmm.
can't run. You're probably supposed to be playing football. But because everyone is looking at Usain Bolt, the fastest runner, you're also thinking with your short, thick legs, I need to do this. What is going to happen? You're going to crash. So performance is always being gauged, but before you know it, you're going to start making wrong choices and wrong decisions because you're gauging yourself on a template that is not yours. Everyone is running a race, and I strongly believe we need to know what lane we are in. And your lane is going to be determined by who you are. What is your capacity? Capacity can be stretched, but you need to know where to start from to stretch it. You cannot stretch what you don't know. So I still think performance is due to comparisons and lack of confidence, which is coming from lack of identity, and lack of identity, which is because no one is really teaching it or talking about it, and no one is emphasizing it. The parents are busy looking for a dollar. Children are raised by social media, raised by television, raised by teachers who have their own problems. By the time they leave home to come to class, they probably fought with the husband, they have rent issues, they have sick parents, and they're downloading all this frustration on the kids. The kids go back home, the parent has no time for them because they need to find money. We are chasing the dollar. But what we already have is we are losing it. And that is where we are. Yeah, thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Do you think that systems sometimes label children as weak learners when the real issue is much deeper? It can be emotional or environmental.
Oh, yes, I do think so because systems measure performance, not context.
Hmm.
They just measure, like I said earlier, systems. If you can learn how to beat the system, you're the smartest. So you are gauged according to their own template, which they set. But did you ask me? Did you analyze me? Did you take time to know who I am or how I'm wired or my potential capacity before putting me in this class or in this lane? So, yes, systems sometimes mislabel children as weak because they are following their own template. They often overlook the emotional and environmental realities which shape the child's behavior. So, yeah, they do label them as weak. And that again, rebellion, people that are unhappy, mental health, suicide, raising families that are broken because you were broken before you even started a family.
Wow. So you just mentioned that it's the academic problems are actually the mindset problem because if your belief system is weak, you will be weak. You will think that okay, you are poor in learning. You will lack confidence. So how
Yeah.
much of a child's learning ability, is shaped by what they believe about themselves?
I would say probably 100% confidence that is not Confidence that is based on reality of who you are and what you are is not something that can be toyed away by pressure, by situations, by different classes and races. If a school, for example, a school is for the ill, for the wealthy, the famous, the diplomatic children, and then you bring you that went to some rural school, you come from a poor background, you're doing this, that alone, putting the two people in the gap is not going to be gauged by another system that somebody set. It is now going to be practical because some people have the practical, others have the theory. And I'm going to tell you this. I went to the Harvard and we were at the UN and we were having a leadership training. So we had Harvard students in and then me from Uganda. So when we sat at the UN and we were doing our discussions groups, I realized something that was really key. These people had the theory, I had the practical. Whatever they were explaining in big, complex words, I knew it, even way better than they knew it. So I had the grassroots knowledge because of my service and my leadership and what I've been doing in my country. But for them, they didn't understand the grassroots or the practical bit of it. They had the big words, they had it on paper. So we are having people that you can bring in a system, they will measure Harvard, but they don't know that a Harvard is a theoretical one. There could be somebody in India, in Mumbai, that understands how to do participatory leadership, because that's what they do every day. So the measurement of performance or the measurement that is brought in by systems, sometimes they miss out on people that are actually gifted, people that are smart, just because they are not in a certain system or they didn't do a certain exam, so they disregard their potential, which I think is not fair.
So you have worked closely with young people through the dominant youth movement. And from what you see today, where is the biggest gap? Is it skill? Is it mindset or sense of purpose?
I think it is sense of purpose because skills and mindset can be trained. You can train somebody. If I know I'm getting on a plane to Mumbai, I don't need to have gone to Mumbai. So I don't need the skill to sit on a plane. I don't need the skill on arrival. That can be, you can learn on the way, but you need direction. So if I know that I'm going to be a leader someday and I feel it in me, I start getting the skills. So employment today is based on paper, something that you can memorize, use ChatGPT and pass 100%. But it doesn't mean that that person has a sense of direction or they have purpose. So for me, the biggest gap in the youth today, I see that the skills are lacking, but the skills are lacking because they don't know where they are headed. Where are you going to apply the skills? So if skills are given, for example, the government comes up and says we are going to train everyone to make tables, chairs, electricians, plumbers, and all this. You can train me to be a plumber, but I don't want to do it. And even when you give it to me, I'll not do it. You'll find someone dancing on TikTok. They will leave the skills and go for something that is different. So again, the skills, it's not that skills are lacking. You need to have the skills when you know which direction you're taking. And that is where the Chinese beat us. That is why in Africa, the Indians beat us because you find family businesses and they look at a child and already put them in a way that they ought to go and then they train them in that area. But for us in Africa, it takes you 20 years, 22 years just to complete education, sitting at home going to school. And then by the time you're old, you're already tired. Now you're looking at marriage. So you find that the gap that is missing there is again identity. Who are we? Where are we headed now? Can we get the skills that we need for the journey? There is no direction, so you cannot stay in power. That is what is missing. And that is why in Dominate, we're emphasizing on the mindset. Not just complain, oh, the government is not giving us this, it's not doing this. What are you doing? What are you contributing? I started an NGO at 17 years. I wasn't complaining about the government. Today, I've built people who are there doctors, married, doing business. Did I have anyone to complain to? No. I had my purpose. At least I had a glimpse of it. And I started working and walking towards it. So direction, identity again, purpose, the skills along the way. Skills can be trained. Anything can be gotten. So I still think purpose is what is missing amongst the youth. And then people don't know who they are. So they are complaining to everything. They're just a bad workman who quarrel with his tools. So I think that is what we are facing today.
Wow. And if you had to be brutally honest, I want to hear from
Yes, I'm
you. Are,
totally honest.
so, are we raising capable young people or just compliant ones?
Hmm. I would say mostly compliant. We have
Hmm.
trained people to follow instructions. They're
Hmm.
like robots, not to lead themselves to think independently. Many times I resigned from my work because I was caged. Not everyone can be caged in a system. Some people just want to come and expand it and make it better. And they have another version. But is your boss confident enough to allow you the liberty to increase and build something? So I still think we have raised compliant people. That's why the robots are coming in. They are going to blend in and take over. But now we are again weakening the abilities in us. The mind is weakening every day. It is getting weaker and weaker. Systems are controlling people. So we are raising a generation, if not revised, that is going to be zero. There's going to be zero productivity.
Hmm.
Absolutely no productivity. Because you have hired people. You hire them and they're asking you, what should I do? Every day they're waiting for instruction. Why should I be giving you an instruction every day? Innovation zero. People don't want to stress their brain. They don't want to give headache to their brain. So we just want a system that is fit, come in, sign in, sit there, work, get my salary, go there, get a loan, get a car, get a house. It looks like a system. That is why the systems like the US, the UK, people who have lived there, when they want to come back to Africa, they cannot fit in Africa. They cannot fit in this system because everything is a system controlled. Credit cards, this, you can get a car, you can get a house, mortgages. You are compliant to the system. In Africa, we are still a little bit flexible. So you find that people cannot operate in certain systems. Yes, we are raising compliant young people today. So we need to change the narrative when it's still early. Thank you.
Thank you. So, we are in the age of social media, and
Mhm.
social media gives people voice. And because
Yes.
of social media, there is a lot of comparison happens as well. So,
Mm.
do you think today's youth are more expressive or they're lost?
Ah, they are expressive externally, but many are internally uncertain.
Wow.
Externally, what they
So,
post, what they say is totally different from what is inside them. And that tension has created a lot of confusion. So we are seeing the youth speak, and those who have no voice or have no environment to speak have chosen to coil back in. And when they coil back in, that is where we start having youth that are in drugs, youth that are expressing a different way. They are mode of life because no one is hearing them out. No one understands them. They are being caged in something they don't like, yet they feel otherwise. So the rebellion is not going on the street. Sometimes it's silent treatment.
mm,
So we are having people coiling, break off. You call them to speak, they don't want to speak because they've already given up. They feel we are not valued, we are not listened to. So their in there. They are expressive externally, but internally they are uncertain of who they are, what they want, where they are headed. They are losing hope. The youth are actually losing hope.
Yes. So we were talking about that social media is like it's not giving people it's giving people the platform to express themselves, but like you said, internally they are lost. Externally they are expressive.
Yes.
Right.
They are doing
So
everything
what do
to
you
feel
think?
hard, feel
Hmm.
yes, go on.
But they don't know what
Please
they're
go on.
talking
Thank
about
you.
and this sense of purpose.
Right now, social media is creating money because money is what everyone is now looking at. Fame,
Hmm.
becoming famous. So we have, in fact, the question we wanted to address, that we address with Dominate Youth Movement is
Hmm.
if I can go on social media and dance as a young girl and get 500 views, get 1 billion views, comments. Before you know it, you're being paid on TikTok, on YouTube, on all these platforms. How is a child or a youth that is committed to become a doctor, who has to sit and study for all these years, yet they are
Hmm.
seeing somebody of their age becoming a millionaire? Like, is it Kobe? Where is the inspiration going to come from for us to have youth that are able to sit and create a masterpiece? Time that you're going to take to design maybe a car, if you can just go there and do something simple that just attracts attention. We are shifting from quality, from value, to things that don't matter just for the views and just for the money and for fame. So the youth are in a very difficult place where right now they don't even know whether I need to pursue this, whether I
Hmm.
need to study, pursue, and become a lawyer, whether I need to create or build houses. They are looking at it. It's not prestigious. It is not looked at as something that being on social media, people know you, hello, I know you, I follow you, is the biggest disruption that we have today. So unless we go back to identity, and they discover exactly who they are. They love who they are. They are confident in their skin. They understand the power that is within them and they value what they carry. They realize, I am different. This is what I bring to this world. If we can
Yeah.
only get the bigger narrative, and then start pointing to people, look, this is your lane. You're good at this. This is what you do. This is how you contribute. Then, if people don't have that, they are not going to love themselves. It's going to be a world where we just survive. Survival for the fittest. It doesn't matter whether I have to go naked live, whether I have to do whatever I have to do. As long as I'm getting views, I'm getting famous, and I'm banking the money. So education is going to become irrelevant because people on social media don't even want serious information or knowledge. They just want funny things to make them laugh, and that's it. So the youth are very confused. Like I said, they are expressive externally, but internally, they are really, really confused. They need help, but we need to go back to their identity, make them resonate with who they are, love themselves, understand their value, and their contribution is what is going to create this world that we are in. Without them, I don't know where we're headed.
Hmm. Wow. They do need help. So if we think about the help part, how can we help in this situation where we are in the world where we are living right now, where they are confused, they are externally expressive? How can we go back to the roots? Because when we talk about foundation, we talk about family. So, how much
Yeah.
of a child's identity and this confusion and insecurity is coming from the house? I think it starts from the house, and how a child's identity is really shaped by the system or in the system. It starts from the house. So, what is the role of the
Yes.
house, a family, in helping the child to understand who they are, in helping the child to not just be externally expressive, but have a sense of
Yeah.
purpose?
I think home is the first mirror a child looks into. home.
Hmm.
What you see first, who you talk to, the energy that is created at home, the words that are spoken to you, how you're treated, what you are fed on every day before you even go to school. So when we look at a home, we look at a father and a mother. We are in an environment, we are in a world where fathers are almost not available. Some are not there. And we are in a home where mothers or single mothers are raising children on their own. So the frustrations that are in the home, the strife, the challenges that these kids are exposed to at a tender age, some of them shouldn't be exposed to them at that age. But I strongly feel that the home sets a tone. It sets a tone for confidence, for work, self-worth, and how they interpret the world. Because what they see, the template they are given at home, is what they're going to carry on into the world. That's how they're going to perceive everyone and everything in this world. So the father is usually mainly to ground the child in identity. The father, that's why we take our father's names. That's why we take on our parents' names, the father's name, not the mother's name, because the father is usually to ground you in identity, to drive you towards your capacities and capabilities, to build you. Yet the mother gives you the nurturing, the love that you need, not to be out there torn apart by wolves. So we discover that the family is the strongest unit right now that we have. Like the question asked, how can we shape this? And then the schools. I strongly think identity should be a program in every school. Identity discovery and development should be a course unit, should be subjects taught at a very tender age. But then the children should now grow up discovering. It should be experimental. It should give them the liberty to look deep into themselves. And then from the home, let's assume the home is dismantled or broken, at least the school is salvaging the situation, not again piling books and information on an empty tin. Something that already feels I'm empty. I don't know who I am. I see other kids with their fathers, parents. I feel lost. I feel like I belong nowhere. And then you come in giving me a lot of information. And then I grow up, I don't even need it. Maybe I'm an influencer. So what are you going to get out of such a person? Completely confused. So I think we can still go back to parents, train our parents, talk to parents. What we are doing here already, we are helping, because this is sensitization, this is information. Disruptive is already bringing out what is hidden. So this talk is powerful. We put it up where information goes, then we start organizing meetings. Let's have families gather. Let's use churches, mosques, whatever it is out there, government, all these programs, and start talking to the parents, start training the children. Then implement these systems in schools. We will help our children grow up with a sense of direction and with an identity that is not shaped by what they hear or see on social media. Yes.
So identity starts from the house,
Yes.
right? What do you think that there's one mistake, a common mistake that parents are unknowingly making that is hampering the child's identity, or it's
Mm.
affecting the child's learning and identifying things the right way, their ability to learn?
I think the biggest mistake is affirming performance more than identity. The,
Hmm.
the performance that we put on our children. Oh, you did this. I've also seen young youth that will buy, for example, a car to their mother, and the mother doesn't even care to know where the child got the money from. It doesn't matter. So
Hmm.
what they raise their children to be doesn't matter as long as they can bring $1, as long as they can pay a ticket, as long as so we realize that, especially even at home among the siblings, oh, this one is smarter. Why don't you think like this one? Why are you not like this one? Why don't you do things like this one? So we forget that we are all different. What identity does, it shows you the difference, the uniqueness of each human being. So the biggest mistake in homes is affirming performance more than identity. One of the children comes with a very good report, the other one probably has a bad report. You're not looking at what they are good at. You're only looking again at what we started with, a template that is only assessing people that we are able to have in memory, that would retain the information and then translate it on a paper, and then they are marked. So these are some of the challenges that I still think, and that's one of the biggest problems. Children grow up believing they are only valuable when they achieve. So when a child comes back, maybe teenage pregnancy, it happened to them. A parent doesn't try to see why and help them bounce back. They discard them. They're already rendered useless and failures. And then we find so many broken people that would actually be very powerful and influential in our societies. So I still think this valuing performance more than your character, one, two, your uniqueness, is what is drowning our children in a depression, and where they can't even express or they feel lost and they feel useless to community. That's rebellion. Yes, thank you.
So you have worked in Uganda as well as USA, the United States. Do you
Yes,
see
please.
differences in how much communities shape confidence and purpose? What difference have you seen in Uganda and the US?
Okay. The environments are different, but the core issue is the same. What I've totally seen is that environments may be different, but still the confusion or the lack of identity that is, because I do trainings in the US for youth. I do it for mothers, for women under Global Peace Women, which our headquarters is in Washington. So you realize that, and especially, let's say now, the people that are in the US, especially the migrants or the Black people or the Chinese, the Indians that went there, their
Mhm.
children are the most, I think those are some of the children that need real help when it comes to identity, because they've adapted everything around them and they've forgotten their roots, what makes them unique, what makes them tick. All those things have been shunned. But again, identity cuts across race, nation, environment, because identity is wired in you. Like this house of mine, there is a way it is wired. If any glitch in electricity happened, I need to call the person who wired it. He knows exactly what he did. So that one, you cannot say it only belongs to Africans. So no, it's the same. The pressure points change, but the need for clarity remains universal. Yes.
Right. So through your work with Global Peace Uganda, you are working in Global Peace, Women Peace.
Mm.
So could you share more about it? How does woman discovering her identity can transform not just herself, but entire generation, the society as well, the people that they are living with, the people that they are surrounded with? What is the importance, the significance of a woman identifying, understanding her identity and the sense of purpose?
When a woman taps into knows her identity, one, she attracts people, friends, networks that are in the same lane, because they say deep calleth unto deep. A woman that doesn't know who she is going to be misguided in so many things, a lot of things, even coming to marriage, choosing a partner. You're going to find that there is a problem. Partner you
Hmm.
choose, the partner you get married to. Why? Because you don't know who you are. So you are just going by anybody, and then that is going to raise a problem in the children you're going to give birth to, and how you're going to raise them. And then at the workplace, with all that is happening, you're going to find a woman that doesn't know who she is, will always bring about all these traditions and take them to places where they are not entertained. But knowing who you are, one, you pursue purpose, you're able to fulfill purpose. When it comes to marriage, you're able to find or say yes to the right man who aligns with your purpose. You are able to understand this is the kind of person, this is the strength that I have, this is how far I can go, this is what I have in me, this is what my husband is bringing, and this is what I need from a partner. So you find a partner where you now complement each other. But today people just say, yeah, I love clubbing, so I find a guy who likes clubbing, and that's it. And then before you know it, no one is able to complement or help the other. However, then when it comes to children, a woman is going to raise her children secure, built and rooted in systems that work effectively when it comes to identity and raising children who are not lost, who are not just compared, looking for anything that looks fancy to them. I told somebody, my children, even if we enter a supermarket or we go anywhere, there are things they're not even attracted to because they know our values, they understand the budgets, they understand what we are looking for. I sit with them, I discuss with them, I talk to them, I tell them this is how much we have, so we are going out to get this and this. Even when I get mad, I ask them, the first thing they'll be like, Mommy, this one last, this first, this first. They've learned how to make priorities depending on the family that I've introduced to them. So they're not trying to cause tantrums and get things that are out of their lane. They know progressively this is how we move through work, through being intentional and all this. So I think we need to be able that know who they are so that they are able to be worthy helpmates, their husbands, because a confused woman at the end of the day is going to even mess up man who is solid in his identity. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Do you believe leadership starts with skills or self-awareness?
Oh,
Which one is more important? Mhm.
self-awareness every day self-awareness, because most of the people that I've seen that are powerful leaders around the world, you realize that it was in them. There was a drive in them.
Yeah.
Because leadership, especially if you're going to create impact and create change, it is not just something you're taught, it is written of you. It is in your mechanical maker. You just feel like what I'm doing with identity, it's not something I researched or I saw someone do identity and purpose among the youth. No,
Yeah.
it was in me. I could not sleep. So again, it's going to be self-awareness, and in that self-awareness is where we find things that disgust us about community, about society. And then when you realize those are challenges, what do? You stand in the gap to solve them. So when that comes in, when you start feeling the disgust of why are people not organized in this office? Why do people come late? Why is there no system? Then you've been called to solve that problem. But a
Mhm.
system that we are in, when you start feeling like that, they say you are rebellious. They say, oh, you are not obedient. Yet it is purpose calling you to do something different and be able to align. So, yes, self awareness, skills, again, they can be taught. But leadership without identity, it becomes inconsistent and isn't shaken.
Wow, that's powerful. So we cannot lead unless we know who we are, unless we know our identity, unless we know our sense of purpose.
Yes, yes, you cannot be a lost sheep and you're leading other sheep. No, you cannot be a sheep that is unaware of who you are. Where are you taking people? You
Yeah.
yourself, you need help. So how are you going to lead other people? But until you totally understand and you're self-aware, you know, yes, these are my weaknesses, then you appoint people to help you where your weaknesses are. Then you have people that come and complement because we are not perfect. That is the power of identity. You understand my strength is here I am a visionary, but I need an administrator. I need somebody who is good at social media. I need somebody who does this. But then you don't go and run the job of a social media person, yet you're a visionary. So that is where
Yeah.
people who don't know their identity and the power they carry, you find them micromanaging people, running to do the job of the other one, directing this one, yet they cannot do it and they don't even know how it works. So, yes, self awareness is key in leadership.
Wow. Powerful. So you are leading organizations and you are raising 4 children and working globally. How do you personally stay grounded in your own identity in midst of all of this?
All right. The first thing I would say is is something you discover. You don't just wake up and it's written on a billboard. Hope Kemigisha, your purpose is this. It is through various assignments that are given to you. It is through the desires and the things that you feel, no, this has to change. It is through everyday living. So I stay grounded in knowing that one, have been created to take over nations. I've been created to change lives. I've been created to be an ambassador. Somebody created me. It's not a big bang theory. There is a God who
Yeah.
sat and designed me and said, Hope will be like this. I'll give her this. I'll give her this. I'll give her this. So the moment I started discovering all that, I put it down. Anytime there is a shaking, something doesn't work out, no, I just shake it off and go to the next because I
Yeah.
understand it's a journey. I know that
Yeah.
in that journey, I'm discovering who I am. I'm not going to discover myself when I'm in my bed seated and watching TikTok. No, I have to be in this
Yeah.
talk show. I have to be
Yeah.
out there leading women. I have to be out there leading youth. I have to be out there preaching, whatever it is that God has
Yeah.
put in me, I pour it out. And then at the end of the day, I need to know that I live the life that is worthy of me. I did not just come here to exist, but I was living. So I am rooted in God. That is my anchor. He created me, formed me, put me here. Everybody came here because they were created. So there's nothing like, and then you just showed up. No. So I
Yeah.
go back to the one who created me and I anchor myself in there. Day by day, I move. Am I on plan? I analyze, I reflect, I realign, and that's how I'm able to be happy and fruitful and keep going. Thank you.
Thank you. Has there any moment in your life, there been any moment where you felt disconnected from your purpose, and how did you find your purpose again?
Yes, yes, yes. Growth comes with seasons of realignment. Growth is it is a process. Sometimes people think because you found your purpose, it's going to be easy. No, no. On the contrary, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very, very hard. But there's going to be always provision for it. So, yes, sometimes I just feel like this thing is not working, this thing is so heavy, this thing is not moving. But the key is recognizing it quickly and then intentionally coming back to say that. So, again, I go back and look at many times people don't know that the desires you had as a little child, you know, those things you tell your friends, when I grow up, I want to be like this. Usually that was your core identity because you were still innocent. The world had not yet taught you that life is hard. Your heart had not yet been broken that you hated people. You had not yet made money that you realize how hard it is to make money if it is hard. So, in that moment, your purpose is actually speaking. Your destiny is being aligned and speaking, but then now you go to school, they put a system on you that now squashes the other thing. They now channel you into this. You get friends, then you get to the world starts teaching you how things are difficult. Before you know it, you lose it. Then you now start chasing a dollar. You do anything just to get a dollar. So you lose the connection. Why? Because of the world, the systems of the world, the challenges of the world. But initially, it was already in you. So many times, go back to the things you desire to do as a little girl, as a little boy, the world you felt you needed to create, the things that have challenged you. What is it that has challenged you in life? That problem that has consistently been in your path, revisit it. Why do people come to you? If people come to you and say, Muni, please, I need help with this IT or ID, then there is something to look at there. Why is it that they come to you for that? If they come to you for counsel, then there is counsel. Look at that. So I sit still when things, kind of fall apart. And then I recalculate, I think, I'm like, okay. Then before I know it, boom, I'm back on track. I can't hear you. I think you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes. So let's do a quick rapid fire and just go with your instincts. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Identity or opportunity?
Identity. Opportunity without identity can mislead you into the wrong line.
Okay. Passion or discipline?
Discipline. Passion is powerful, but discipline is what sustains results when emotions fluctuate.
Purpose found or built?
Sorry?
When we talk about purpose, is it found or built?
It is discovered, then built. You uncover it first, then you intentionally develop it over time.
One word to describe today's youth.
Potential. There is so much
Potential.
capacity, but it needs direction and structure.
Wow. If you could redesign one aspect of how we educate children so they don't just read and write and just fall into the system, but truly understand who they are, what would be that change? What would be that one thing that you would use to redesign?
I think initially it's identity development at the lowest level education, up to the highest, consistently. Let people rediscover who they are. Let people understand their strengths. I would make it a core subject.
Okay,
Identity
let's
development.
okay, let's see. Let's assume that we have a core subject and the child has just started going to school. How are we going to approach a child while teaching them the identity as a young child?
Okay. You start with, for example, if someone came to me, questions, let's see what they answer, because usually the answers will tell you so much about what
Hmm.
they've already known about themselves. So it would be sessions where I just talk about, ask them what they feel. What do you feel like? When you
Mhm.
look at this thing, blue and green, what is it that you make out of it? Let's
Hmm.
get into their mind, understand what they think and feel and how they are. And of course, there are courses. For me, I've done a course almost a PhD level in identity assessment. You assess how someone is wired. It's a whole template. It's a course 100% accurate. If I took you through it right now, you'd be like, "Oh my God, how can you know me yet you don't know me?" So it's teachable. It's a course it can be taught. Yeah. And
Hmm.
I do teach it. Yes.
Okay, our final question. For someone who is watching this live right now, the stream right now, who feels completely lost, completely unsure, uncertain of the direction where they are heading,
Mm.
of who they are, where they are going, what would you say to them?
I would say you're not the first. Um, Confusion is actually part of life because why you are confused is because you're trying to figure things out. So you are in a process of searching. You understand that there is more to life than where you are. So you are doing the right thing. The fact that you are confused is good. I would not say it's bad, it's good. Because there are many options around you, but you don't know which direction to take. So what I can say is first off was chasing everything outside. What you see, what you hear, first carry it. You can first get off media. You can first clean your house for like a week. Relax. Don't say now I'm locking the door. I need to find out. No. Just relax. Cut out everything. And then go inward. Start looking at the little things that you think are minute that you love doing. You know, there are people who are very, very good gossipers and they can actually be powerful marketeers. They can change a whole nation with their mouth. So it's because energy is not directed. So you don't have a message, but you have the drive in you. So cut it out, discover who God created you to be. First of all, it goes back to the little things you think are little. What is it that makes me happy? Who am I happy around? What kind of environment do I enter in and I feel I'm at my best? What makes me sad in this world? Maybe you are the one who should answer that question. Maybe it's not the government. Maybe it's not your parents. Solve that issue at home. So every time you see a problem, you are the solution. Every time something makes you sad, ask yourself, how would I do it differently? And start looking at the ways you do it. So take time to analyze yourself. Write it on a paper. Get papers. Write my weaknesses, my strong points. What am I good at? What is it that I can do without being paid? What do I find so easy to do? Before you look for capital to start a business, you can do business without even any capital. And I did it after university. That is the first thing I did. I looked for jobs everywhere. They told me you're overqualified. There's no job for you. No job, no job, no. Until I went and sat in the house, kept quiet. I said, but I can market anything. I'm good at marketing. Let me just get a product, get a manufacturer. He makes a product. I make it my own. I go and sell it. And I started making money. I went back to the same people that refused to employ me. I told them now I do branding. I need to do your billboards, your thing. And they gave me work. So I was self-employed. So we do not panic. Don't panic. Don't say, oh, she's doing this. Let me do this. Let me do this. No, 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 no. Your uniqueness is in you. Find it. But you're not going to find it in the loud. Take time off. Be quiet. Dig in. Go back to you. Clarity comes when identity is settled, not when activity increases. Quit the activities. Go back to identity. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much, Hope, for such a powerful and deep, insightful conversation. Um, this is
Thank you.
amazing. What stands out is that solving the global learning crisis is not just improving about system. It's actually much deeper.
It is.
It's knowing who you are. It's finding the sense of purpose. Wow. And conversations like this is exactly why we have D-Talks 2.0. And I am just truly blessed and honored that I got this opportunity to be here and be part of this conversation one on one with you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much
So
for helping us, inspiring us. I'm sure many of us are inspired right now. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much for having me. And I just want to thank everyone that is watching us, the team behind this, the organizers, the bosses, the managers, whoever runs this. I just want to say you are doing something that is unique. You see the gaps and you choose to say, you know what, we are going to address them. And that is what identity does. Your uniqueness, this program's uniqueness, is what we are all called to do to change the world. So I really appreciate having you here. And yeah, let's change lives. Thank you so much, Madam, for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you even more. Thank you so much.